The other day I was watching John Mayer play Gravity, and I was like, through the first part of the song, and then he played this. And I'm like, what's that? I know the song, so I know that's some A minor 7, but I've never seen an A minor 7 played like that. So let me break it down, because you probably watch YouTube videos and be like, I have no idea what they're playing. So let me break that beautiful chord down to its essence so you can understand it and you can play it too. So this chord comes from an E minor shape. And you might be thinking, wait a minute then, it's an A minor. How can it come from an E minor? You can move chord shapes across the fretboard to create other chords. So for example, I'm going to use that E minor, fret it like that, and I'm going to move it to an F minor. How do I do that? So imagine I get this note, that E note, right? And I move it up one fret. It creates an F, right? Well, if I move all the notes that create that E minor chord up one fret, so I'm going to use a bar behind to move the strings that are left open. If one note creates another note, one chord must create another chord. And that's exactly what happens. So you can find any minor chord using that E minor chord shape. You just got to follow the alphabet, right? So the musical alphabet is the same as the normal alphabet, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So we start in E. The next letter is F minor, right? The next letter is G minor. And then the musical alphabet ended. So the video is going to end. No, you just start again in the beginning of the alphabet. So the next letter is going to be A. So that's an A minor chord using an E minor chord shape. All right, but that doesn't look like John Mayer's A minor. No, it doesn't. So what is he doing? He's adding that 7 element to that chord. Basic major and minor chords are created using 3 notes. So if I color that chord diagram for you, you'll find you have 3 red notes, you have 2 green notes, and you only have 1 blue note, right? So that's an A minor chord, basic minor chord, but he's adding a 4th note to the mix, which is this one over here, that I'm going to color yellow. That's what transforms an A minor to an A minor 7. So I'm going to fret it like that. Starting to sound a little bit like what John's doing, right? But it doesn't look anything like what John's fretting. So what is he using? First of all, he's only using 4 strings. Strings 2, 3, 4, and 5. And if I use those 3 strings 2, 3, and 4, this is how he's fretting it. So you see, it's the same as fretting it like this, right? But why is he leaving string 5 open? Well, if I fret again my A minor 7 like that, this note on the 6th string 5th fret is an A note, which is the same as if I leave my 5th string open. So now I have this note, my red note, I have this note, and this note. Oh. So the question is, how did John reach that conclusion? Well, he went to college, and he went to a very expensive college. But you can figure this out with this. And you don't need to spend college money. You can get this book, 160 pages, printed in color, and it's going to show you how to find, fret, and play any chord across the fretboard, using bar chords, using cage, using triads. You're going to be able to figure this out on your own. Next time you go and see someone play and they're playing something crazy like this, right? You're going to be like, what's that? You're going to be able to figure it out. Because instead of using complicated theory jargon like flat third, diminished, augmented, the major scale, right? We use colors, just as you saw in this video. Go and check that little book out, and I'll see you inside.